Visual novels are interesting games because they don't look like games. Instead of battling your way to Sephiroth, bouncing off of a Goomba, or throwing a Hadoken, you're usually just chilling on the couch or your bed, enjoying a story like you would a traditional book. Admittedly, this is a genre I'm less familiar with because of that more relaxed aspect. But I do love a great story, and the idea of a simple game where I get to make choices that potentially affect the narrative sounded pretty fun, and at the very least, worth a try. Which led me to Eliza, and after completing this game 2 times, I can say that Eliza is interesting. Very interesting, and it will probably go down as one of the most interesting experiences I've ever had with a game like this. Let's start from the beginning. Eliza is a visual novel about, Eliza, an artificial AI that serves as a virtual therapist and counselor for the emotionally troubled people in a modern Seattle. You play, quote-unquote, as Evelyn, a 30-something programmer who begins work as a proxy for Eliza. And a proxy is essentially just somebody who reads Eliza's generated responses to questions and feelings of patients. Your job is to listen to the grievances of troubled people and read back what Eliza's response is to them. This concept translates to gameplay by having you hit down to select the only option you have, and then hit A to confirm it. But, thankfully, the game gets significantly more interactive because eventually you get to play solitaire. I hate solitaire. The lack of gameplay didn't bother me much, considering it was meeting my expectation of the genre, and I wasn't bored because I was really enjoying what the game was actually offering. As Evelyn, you get to connect with so many different characters with a unique perspective on Eliza and Evelyn herself. Soren is an ambitious man with a troubled history surrounding him in suspicion. Nora is a rebellious ex-co-worker who stands her ground against the system with her creative spirit. Ray is Evelyn's supportive and optimistic new boss who bakes cookies. This depth of personality also applies to the patients you interact with as a proxy. You'll hear the troubles of Maya, a struggling artist approaching her breaking point with her failing career, Darren, a man who can't find happiness with his bleak outlook on life, and then there's Holiday.
So what brings you here today?
Oh, nothing in particular. I'm not crazy, no, not even mentally disturbed. You see those people yelling on the street late at night? They're the ones who doing fine. My mind's still sharp. I smoke. I'd have it more often, but there's a nice young couple in my building. Everything's
The characters and their unique personalities and goals all shine in conjunction with this vibrant art that paints a vivid portrait of the offices, homes, and shops in the backgrounds. These elements help to create an engaging story that keeps you invested all the way to the end. Despite the well-developed characters and story, however, what was throwing me off was how seemingly ineffectual my choices seemed to be. The best example I can think of is Dinner with Soren. He was asking me some weird questions, and eventually, he asked me this.
So, what are you doing after this? Well, her show is tonight. If we take a car after dinner, we could get there with plenty of time to settle in. No need to be frightened. I mean, I know it's a jouissance, which is...
Which is what?
Oh, you don't know. It's sort of, well, there's a little bit of bondage theme there. You know, BDSM. It's one of my research areas, in fact. The psychology of S&M is fascinating.
And I was like, nah, not for me. I'm okay. So I hit the option that says no, but I ended up having to go there with the guy anyways. I noticed this happening a lot throughout my playthrough. The game would give me a small list of choices to choose from, be it in conversation, texting, or just doing something, but there was seemingly no real change in the following events. This lack of real, meaningful choice is encapsulated by the proxy sessions. It's here where you meet some of the most interesting people with some real troubles. You hear their pleas and problems, and you feel so bad for some of them, but Eliza's generated responses are so ineffective.
First, I'm going to send a set of breathing exercises for you to do. I'm going to suggest you try a therapeutic virtual world experience called Starry Skies. I recommend asking your doctor or psychiatrist about Fortipran hydrochloride.
What was it called again?
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. You will get a reminder to check in with us in a few weeks.
The way the characters are voiced and the things they say really strike a chord with your empathy. You will want to desperately reach out and say something meaningful to them, something that will actually truly encourage them. It was in these moments that I realized what Eliza was doing to me. I was so pissed that Eliza was doing nothing for these hurting people, that it was just giving these short-term fixes, and how I was practically meaningless in the equation. The game even has this results screen that is completely out of your control to influence, since you're just doing the same thing every session, unable to change your response, and then it hit me. That feeling I mentioned earlier, about how I wanted to make choices with weight and consequences. The game knew that's what I wanted. Eliza, the game, not the AI, understood that the players wanted to actively do something and have an impact on the world based on their choices, and use that desire as a device to tell a story about therapy sessions where the human on the other side of the room is walled off behind an artificial intelligence that seeks to fix problems that can't be solved in the manner it hopes to. By this extension, you, the player, are unable to do anything that Eliza, both the AI and the game now, I'm talking about both, does not permit you to do. You are pressing down and A to select the only option you have because it is the only option you have. You may not like the responses, but you don't have any other choices. These thematic concepts relate you even deeper to Evelyn, whose job is the same as yours with the same restriction of choice. You feel her insignificance in the system and how she feels as though her choices won't mean anything in the grand scheme. So for the majority of the game, you are pressed with a non-choice choice every session, restricted by the game and AI until... Never before did I feel such empathy during a game with such little actual gameplay, but the characters and their stories kept me hooked and listening to their every word, even after I went back to record the game again for the footage you're seeing. Eliza was something truly special, and I'm glad that I got to experience it, and hopefully it gave me a taste for this visual novel genre. I'll certainly be going back to this game sometime soon. Not to see the other endings, mind you. It's to beat just one game of solitaire. Look, even the game knows it's hard. They send me a freaking email about it.